How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame. We are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Premier League fixtures, or in our case, the FPL fixtures is what we're going to call them, because they have been announced for the 22-23 FPL season, and I'm eager to look at them. I scanned them over briefly, but we're going to get into the nitty-gritty and see who has good starts, who has bad starts, see where there's potentially some fixture swings, and you're going to get a real live reaction because I've only skimmed through them slightly. The first thing I look for was like, when does United play Liverpool, and like who plays who on the opening day, but apart from that, haven't really looked into it with too much depth, so it's going to be very interesting to see my reaction to it. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe channel if you're new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Also, drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can keep up to date with any no FPL news, from transfer news to price reveals and anything in between, as well as give us a follow over on Twitch so you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams, as well as any other streams, because when we do have FPL announced that evening, I will be going live, and I'll probably be going live for a significant amount of time to look at all the prices, and it's going to be a very, very interesting stream. Probably do up a team as well, and we'll see how we get on, so make sure you are following us for that as well. So without further ado, let's talk about our partners for this stream with Manscaped. This video is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped have just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, alongside their Performance Package 4.0, which also includes the Weed Whacker hair and nose trimmer for those pesky little hairs that are getting out of hand, the Crop Preserver for anti-chafing to make sure that you are as relaxed at all times, the Crop Reviver for maximum conditioning and toning to make sure your jewels are as buff as possible, disposable shaving mats, as well as the Premier Travel Bag for your on-the-go grooming, and lastly, the anti-chafing boxers, which I can personally say are extremely comfortable and keep you cool under the highest amount of pressure. What I found the most impressive is that the Lawnmower 4.0 features ceramic cutting-edge blades to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology, so you can now have that added security when venturing into uncharted territories. The upgraded trimmer also includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock, and also when you are venturing into those uncharted territories, it has the ability for a LED, a 400K LED, a very strong light that you can switch on and off so you can get that more precise shave. So make sure to join over 4 million men who trust in Manscaped with this exclusive offer, 20% off and free worldwide shipping, using the code FLAME20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the code FLAME20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. So this is the Fantasy Football Scout season ticker. I know my camera's kind of cutting it off a little bit, but it's really narrow on the website, so I have to kind of make it pretty big, and so we'll try to see if we can put the fixtures that we're looking at the very top. So you might not see like all the stuff around the outside, but don't worry, I'll be able to show you kind of how it works. So we currently have it as it is, basically the first 6 fixtures. That's usually what it has, either 6 or 10, I think, usually when you first refresh it, and it's in alphabetical order currently. So we'll kind of go through each team by team and then sort it using the filters that are on here. Now, Fantasy Football Scout have their own presets, which you can see down the bottom here, which you can organize by like relative difficulty, all that sort of stuff, based on home or away games. Overall, you can see like the sliders, which you can adjust. So if you think that Arsenal at home is a much tougher fixture than 1,250 points, whatever you want to count that to, then you can slide it over a little bit more, that sort of thing. And you can adjust it based on as the season goes. So if we think that initially Man United, like last season, Man United was probably a more difficult fixture on paper and became easier as the season went on. So you could adjust that slider slightly down and to make Man United a bit more favorable of a fixture. You also notice the different colors on the screen. So a very dark blue is a very easy fixture. So as an example, Arsenal game week 4 play Fulham at home, probably one of the best fixtures you're going to get in the season. And as it gets closer and closer to the darker red, like Man City away for Bournemouth, that's basically your FDR 5 rating for the FPL site, whereas the Fulham, the old blue one for Fulham is like FDR 1 or 2. So the lower the number, the easier it is. So the closer it is to blue, the easier the fixture is. If it's like kind of in between, like Arsenal at home for Bournemouth, then that's kind of like a 3-ish. But like the darker reds are the bad ones. You don't want those. So let's take a look and see who has the best fixtures. So I'm going to organize it. So there's these metrics here that is organize it by you have overall, you have attack, you have teams. You can organize it by row. So I'm going to do it by difficulty. So it's sorting from the easiest fixtures in the first 6, because typically that's what you want to look at, is the first 6. Or first 4. Thereabouts. Probably first 4 to 6. I think people will be wildcarding a lot earlier because of what they potentially do with the World Cup as well. We don't know if we're going to get unlimited transfers, a free wildcard. Who knows? But it's only a couple game weeks after the World Cup finishes that we get our next wildcard. So we have to kind of see how that one plays out. So we'll see how that kind of unfolds, what maybe new rule they put in, because they haven't announced that yet. We only just got the fixtures and the site hasn't even come up yet. Probably in the next like couple weeks, like I mentioned. So Wolves off to start. Looks very, very good. Very, very good fixtures. Wolves leads away, Fulham at home, Newcastle at home, Bournemouth away, Southampton at home. I mean, the 5 out of 6 look great. Spurs away, probably going to be a bit tricky, but they should be able to manage that. But a cheap Wolves midfielder might be on the cards. Maybe Pedro Neto, just off the start if he's around the 6 million mark. We're going to need budget players because Son, Kane, Haaland, Salah, Trent, Cancelo, Reece James, these players are all going to be quite expensive, so we need budget assets somewhere in there as well. Arsenal also have a pretty good set of fixtures off the start. Some a bit more deceiving than others. I think Crystal Palace away is probably a tougher fixture than probably what it lets out to be here. But Crystal Palace away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, Aston Villa at home. Those all seem to me like very winnable fixtures. And then the Man United game probably isn't ideal, especially away from home. Liverpool, Man City, the next 2 on the list. Fulham, Crystal Palace, Man United away. Bournemouth at home, Newcastle at home, Everton away. Great fixtures. Man City, a little bit of a, not the easiest fixture. West Ham away, but then Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, Crystal Palace at home. NFO, by the way, is Nottingham Forest. It's a really weird abbreviation for them. I'm probably going to end up putting NTF because it just looks a little bit better. I don't know. We'll see. But NFO is what they've gone for as the abbreviation for Nottingham Forest. And then Aston Villa away. So City and Liverpool and Chelsea, 3 out of the top 5. They've got Everton away, Spurs at home. So a big clash there on the start of the season in game week 2. Leeds away, Leicester at home, Southampton away, West Ham at home. Those actually might not be the easiest fixtures, to be honest. I think Spurs is always going to be tricky. Leicester could be tricky, especially if they sit in and improve the defense, and West Ham are tricky as well. But the other 3, Everton, Leeds, Southampton, you think Chelsea should do be quite comfortable. And then we look at some of the other teams. So like the big 6 teams are kind of the ones you want to pay attention to as well. So like Spurs and whatnot. But we need some budget assets as well. So Leicester, not the greatest start. Leicester away, Man United at home. But then they have Fulham, Everton, Crystal Palace, and Leeds. So maybe starting off with a cheap striker like Tony could come into play. If he comes in at like 6.5, we'll have to see. Brighton, defensively, they look like they could potentially have some good fixtures here. Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham. Might be some nice fixtures there. West Ham, they don't score too many goals. But Man United away is probably not the greatest. So maybe you would have, if you're going to get a defender or something from them, it's going to probably be more rotational than anything. Kind of how we had Lamptey last season as kind of a rotation with a Leeds defender. We'll see how that kind of pans out. Because obviously prices would dictate everything. Then we have Leeds as well. Speaking of Leeds, they have Wolves, Southampton away, Chelsea at home, Brighton away, Everton at home, Brentford away. So again, very favorable fixtures. Spurs, here's another big team. Let's see what they have. So Southampton at home, very good fixture to start, which is also interesting because City having West Ham away, not the greatest fixture, which you could potentially dodge. Maybe you start the season with Kane and you swap him to Haaland after the first game week. Who knows? We'll see. Because then Spurs have Chelsea away, Wolves at home, but then they have Forest, West Ham, and Fulham. So 3 out of the next 4 after Chelsea look to be quite good. Villa, good run to start. Bournemouth, Everton, Crystal Palace. And then you have West Ham, which is going to be tricky. But then Arsenal and Man City are going to always be, tricky just games in general. Everton, not the greatest off the start with Chelsea, but then Aston Villa, Forest, Brentford, Leeds, some winnable games in there. And then Liverpool, so not great there. Leicester, bit of a mixed bag. Brentford at home, Arsenal away, Southampton at home, then Chelsea, Man United, Brighton. So some little fixtures here and there. So maybe if you have a rotation system, that might be okay. So maybe like an Everton, like if you went like hypothetically Everton defender and Leicester defender, you could play the Leicester defender in game week 1, Everton defender game week 2, Everton defender game week 3, Everton defender game week 4, game week 5, Leicester defender game week 6. You know, something like that could potentially be on the cards, although rotations don't normally go that way. Forest, let's see how Forest start off the season. So Newcastle away, not terrible. West Ham at home, Everton away, not bad. Then Spurs and Man City home and away respectively. Then Bournemouth, so bit rough in there. But apart from that, they seem to be, you probably wouldn't expect anything maybe worse than that. I mean, the other two teams probably have it worse, way worse than they do by the looks of it, because they're in the bottom 3. Newcastle had Forest at home, a very good fixture, maybe a Callum Wilson type fixture. Then Brighton away, Man City, Wolves, Liverpool, Crystal Palace. So again, 4 out of the 6 fixtures you would say are decent enough. West Ham, tricky off the start with Man City, but then Forest away, Brighton at home, Villa away in the next 3. Then they have Spurs and Chelsea, which isn't great. United, very rough fixtures to start the season. Brighton at home is never going to be easy. Brentford's not going to be easy. Liverpool, Southampton should be favorable. Leicester were kind of hit and miss, and then Arsenal, so who knows how that's going to pan out. Southampton, really rough start. They had a poor end to last season as well. Spurs away. Leeds at home will be encouraging for them. Leicester away. Man United at home. Chelsea at home. Wolves away. Again, not easy fixtures there. And then two newly promoted teams. This is what we didn't want to see, because Mitrovic is someone that everyone probably wants to get in their team if he comes in at 6.5 million. He plays Liverpool at home on the first day of the season. Well, they play I think they play the 12:30 kickoff UK time, just after lunchtime, and that's the second game of the season, because Arsenal play Crystal Palace. Funny enough, Arsenal play on a Friday again, which is interesting. So they really like giving Arsenal that early game. I don't know why. Maybe because they just want to see them fail. I don't know. I mean, they lost to Brentford. What was it, 2-0 last time? I remember Kane scored the opener, and the place went absolutely crazy. Arsenal weren't great that night. But yeah, Fulham, you know, somewhat rough off the start. Liverpool at home. They also have Wolves away. Then they have Brentford at home, which, you know, might be able to do there. But then Arsenal away is tricky. Brighton at home is going to be tricky. And Spurs away is tricky. Bournemouth have it really bad. Villa at home, not too bad. But then City, Arsenal, Liverpool. 2 of those being away fixtures. I guess get them out of the way with early. And then Wolves and Forest. So again, maybe some, you know, kind of things to look forward to there. And then you got Crystal Palace way down the bottom. Arsenal to start with, then Liverpool. Then they have Villa at home, City, Brentford, and then Newcastle. So a very, very rough start for Crystal Palace off the bat. So probably not going to be going near them. So what do we take from these fixtures? Well, the teams that we are probably going to go to at the start of the season, the likes of your Reece Jameses, your Cancelos, your Trent Alexander-Arnolds, your Salahs, your Kanes, they're in that realm where the fixtures look very nice. So I will probably expect to see a lot of drafts that have double Liverpool defense with Salah, double Liverpool attack with Salah, Diaz, Trent. I'll expect to see probably Erling Haaland in teams, maybe a Cancelo and another defender, or maybe another City midfielder if they're cheaper. I would expect potential Kane starters for the Southampton at home fixture, if you're going to captain him, let's say, or Son captained or something like that, and then swap them out for De Bruyne or Haaland if you're going to captain them versus Bournemouth at home in game week 2. So that is going to be something that is going to be very interesting to see how that one plays out. But again, prices play a big part, because if Haaland comes in, let's say at 12.5 and Kane's only 12, then you can't do that swap. It makes it much more difficult. But if Son and De Bruyne are at the same price, then you can. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. Now, if we expand these fixtures out just a little bit, I'm going to add a couple and see if it doesn't break here. So we got, what, 9? How many can I go without it being, like, super small? Let's go to 16. So this is everything before the World Cup. So things are going to be really, really small. They're going to be really, really small here, but hopefully we can get through it. So we want to see basically the teams that have the really, really good like blue blocks of fixtures. So we can see that Chelsea have the best fixtures for the first 16 games. That's just naturally how it is. Southampton's at the very bottom. I guess they play more of the big six teams. United's down the very bottom as well. Forest isn't great. Fulham's not great. Bournemouth's okay around mid-table. Liverpool, City, to see City in the top four is very encouraging, as well as Chelsea. So maybe some season keepers potentially in there. So if we look at it, where did like the kind of the colors change? So basically you want to look as for the big blue patches into the kind of not so great patches. So like City as an example, City's fixtures after West Ham, so from Bournemouth all the way up until Aston Villa, are very good. You know, you have Bournemouth, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Forest, and Villa, 3 at home, 2 away. And then you have kind of a bit of a what would be a normally rough patch with Spurs, Wolves away, and Man United, with Southampton only in the one game in game week 10, and then Liverpool, Arsenal, and Brighton with Leicester could be very tricky. So maybe City, maybe not so high on them at that point. My question would be, let's say if everyone's going for Erling Haaland or a Kevin De Bruyne during those game weeks, is the likes of Spurs good and in those fixtures. So we're looking between game week 7, which is in this column here, which you can't see. There you go. You can see it there. Game week 7 up and until and including game week 14. So that stretch 7 to 14 is what we want. So we're just going to scroll down. We're going to keep going down. So after Spurs play Man City, they have Leicester, they have Arsenal, so Kane's favorable versus Arsenal. Brighton, which isn't bad. Everton at home. Man United away is a bit tricky. Newcastle, Bournemouth. So maybe you swap to a Kane or something like that and expect him to outscore Haaland over the 6 game weeks. That could be something that you can go for. Or Son from KDB. That's another thing that we can look at as well later on in the season. Let's take a look at Chelsea. So Chelsea, when do their fixtures get bad? Well, pretty much they play Spurs, which, you know, isn't ideal. They play Liverpool, which they drew both games last season. They don't play City in the first 16. So I think Chelsea players are pretty clear to hang on to for pretty much all of the games up until the World Cup, basically. I mean, Man United at home's not great, but like all their games that they're playing against the tougher teams, Spurs, Leicester, West Ham, Liverpool, Man United, and Arsenal, they're all at home, which is great because that means it makes it easier for them. The likes of Everton, Leeds, Southampton, Fulham, you know, these sorts of teams they're probably going to beat away from home. At least they should be looking to beat them. Also, the whole narrative, Chelsea versus Lampard again on opening day as well, that could play a big spell. With Aston Villa, first 4 fixtures look great. Then they have a little rough patch between 5 and 7. Maybe wildcard them out and then transfer them back in when they have Southampton, Leeds, and Forest. Then they have Fulham and Brentford. And then you could probably ditch them before the World Cup maybe because Newcastle away, Brighton away, Man United at home could be a bit tricky. Arsenal looks good off the bat. After the Brentford game, though, probably gets a bit rough. You know, Spurs, Liverpool, and Man City, and 3 of the next 4 there. That could be a bit tricky. And then Chelsea and Wolves. I mean, Southampton and Forest, maybe just bench the player if they're cheaper. But it could be a bit rough there. If we look at Liverpool, I mean, Liverpool looks like you're probably going to keep them for the most part. Maybe there's a shout here for game week 8, 9, 10, and 11. I mean, even 12, where you can get rid of them for a different asset. That's also when Man City have not the greatest fixtures either. So you can go to maybe an extra Chelsea player. Maybe you can double up on Spurs. Maybe it will be literally get rid of Salah, get rid of not Son. Get rid of Salah, get rid of Harry Kane. Get them right. Get rid of Salah, get rid of Haaland. There we go. We got it right in the end. And just get Son and Kane. Maybe that's the play to go to. We shall see. Yeah, couldn't just think too many premium assets in the game, and they're all going to be expensive, and you can only have so many of them. In terms of the promotion teams, this is why I like doing the live reactions, because you get the honest kind of spiel, no editing whatsoever, apart from like the promotional stuff. But this is all one take. So we got Forest here, we got Fulham here. Where's Bournemouth? Bournemouth's up here. So off the start, Bournemouth First 4 aren't great, but then you have from game week 5 to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you have a very good run. So maybe some type of Bournemouth player in there could be quite good. You have Fulham, so Mitrovic after game week 1 looks to be okay. Wolves, Brentford, Brighton in game weeks 2, 3, and 5, but you mainly probably want him for this run of fixtures here from game week 7 here. Where they start off, or game week 8, sorry, where they play Nottingham Forest away. Then they got Newcastle, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Leeds, Everton. Those look great for Mitrovic, so maybe he's one to keep in there. Is there a cheap forward potentially that you could have in your team that has a good set in the first like 6 or 7, and then swap to him? Let's see. Maybe, let's see, is Callum Wilson potentially good for the first like 6 or 7? Newcastle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, 4 out of the first 7 are, good, but you probably want to keep him afterwards. Let's say if you got a cheaper striker like Ivan Toney, Fulham, Everton, Crystal Palace, Leeds, Southampton, and then you might want to ditch him because he has Arsenal, Newcastle away, Brighton, and Chelsea, maybe. That could be a swap. That could happen there. I can see that potentially happening. In terms of goalkeeper rotations, I'm trying to see if there's anything that could be good. So let's get rid of Chelsea because their goalkeeper is going to be too expensive. Let's get rid of Aston Villa because I think Martinez is going to come in at 5 million. We're going to go for the cheaper teams. Arsenal, Ramsdale is going to be more than 4.5. We're only looking at 4.5s. Same with Man City. Same with Leicester. Raya will keep in there. Pickford might be 4.5, so we'll keep him in there. Liverpool won't. Bournemouth will. West Ham probably won't. Wolves won't. Leeds will, probably. Spurs won't. Brighton, I think Sanchez will probably be 5 million, but I'll leave him there anyway. Newcastle probably will. Forest will. Man United definitely won't. Fulham, Palace. We'll keep Palace in there. So these are the teams that realistically you can probably expect a 4.5 million goalkeeper. Are there any that rotate perfectly? So which team has the best? We get started off this way. Which team has the best fixture in game week 1? Well, Newcastle have Forest at home, so Newcastle's goalkeeper is probably the best. Is there any team where are the fixtures where they're bad, basically? So they're bad in game week 3. They're bad in game week 4 and 5, probably. Bad in 7. Bad in 11, 13, and 16. So we got to basically plug those holes. So who has a good goalkeeper in 3, 4, 5? Well, Raya has Fulham, Everton, Crystal Palace. That looks good. What about game week 7? Brentford have Southampton. Not bad. What about 11? They have Brighton at home. That looks pretty good. Then they have Spurs away, Aston Villa away. Not great. Doesn't perfectly rotate. And the game week 16 becomes a bit of a problem. So not necessarily the most perfect rotation, but could be on the cards. Let's see here. And remember, Nottingham Forest, this could be Nottingham Forest's goalkeeper could be Dean Henderson. So let's see how that one will work out. So what if we rotated between Forest and somebody? So Forest, which ones do we need to plug up? So probably game week 1, 4, 5, maybe 9, 13, and 14. So we need game week 1. Newcastle game week 1. Game week 4. Wolves don't typically score very many goals, so maybe that's probably good. They both play Liverpool, Man City at the same time, so that's not great. That's definitely what we don't want. But Forest covers the West Ham game. Newcastle covers the Leicester game for Forest. Wolves for Forest when Newcastle are playing United. Again, they play Spurs and Liverpool same time. And Aston Villa covers Arsenal and Crystal Palace covers Chelsea. So I think not the greatest there either. Let's use Forest again and see if we can find a better one. So game week 1. Let's go for... Is there anything that's looking... you can always play Forest goalkeepers versus Newcastle away, so maybe that one's not too big of a deal. Let's look for something to plug up game week 4 and 5 for sure. 4 and 5 for sure. Raya definitely does that with Everton and Crystal Palace. Those are much better fixtures than Spurs and Man City, that's for sure. Fulham covers Arsenal. That's great. Bournemouth covers Leicester. Even Brighton at home covers Wolves there. Aston Villa covers Liverpool. Wolves covers Arsenal. So yeah, I think that looks to be okay. Maybe Forest and Brentford are the two that you go for as a rotational goalkeeper if you wanted to. If you're going to go for a set and forget, maybe Mendy might be the choice. But his save percentage was not great last season. But again, these are just my initial thoughts. So it looks like there's going to be a potential clear rotation from City players and Liverpool players to Spurs players. People might start with Kane for the first fixture and then swap him out for Haaland. Who knows? Let's see how that one pans out. Again, it all depends on prices. This is just speculation. Rotating goalkeepers or not, we'll see. Set and forget goalkeepers. Rotating defenders as well. So again, a Forest defender, maybe a Brentford defender. Who knows? We'll see how it all pans out. But let me just think down in the comments below. Which team do you support and which fixture are you most excited about? Me personally, I don't really care that United has a good fixture on opening day and Boxing Day. We play Liverpool 3 game weeks in, which is not going to be fun, especially if the team is not up to speed with what Erik ten Hag wants. So let me know what you think about the fixtures. Let me know which ones you're most excited for. And if you're like me and you can't wait for FPL to get up and running, so it should be in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we can start getting some price reveals, and then things are going to get real spicy real fast. And then we'll be kicking off our preseason look at the teams videos. I think it was I called it Team Watch or something, but I do one for every team in the lead up all the way up until the start of the season. So make sure to keep an eye out for that as well, which is why you got to follow us on all our platforms. So yeah, that's going to do it for our FPL fixture announcement. Yeah, during the regular season, it's £25 for the membership, and that lasts the entire year. And during the off season, they give a 20% discount. But if you have missed that discount, fear not, you can still get the membership for £25, and it's fantastic. You can see the membership area just behind me. You have a bunch of different stats that you can use, powered by Opta stats, and create your own custom tables. You have the Rate My Team tool, you have the season ticker, player comparison tools, a whole array of things that you can use to help elevate your FPL game. So use the link down in the description below so that you can get access to these exclusive tools to help elevate your FPL game. Sign up now. And that's going to do it for our FPL fixture announcement video. Now that we've seen all the fixtures, we can start to potentially plan who we may or may not want in our teams. Yes, there's still prices to come, but last year, it was similar timing when the fixtures got released, and it was only about a week or so later that FPL did launch. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe channel if you're new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it's readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, from transfer news to price reveals and anything in between, as well as give us a follow on Twitch so you can catch us live when we do go live for any FPL streams, whether it be preview or deadline streams, or the most important one, when FPL goes live again, which is probably going to be in the next couple of weeks thereabouts. I predicted end of June, start of July, so we'll see how that one pans out, and you'll definitely not want to miss that one as well. We'll be doing a draft on stream. We'll be looking at all the prices, going through all the teams. It's going to be fantastic. As well as make sure to check out Fantasy Football Scout. You saw the season ticker that we use. That is from the new members area. So make sure to check out the link in the description below. You also get 20% off when their deal goes live. They usually have a preseason offer, which gives you 20% off for the whole season. I think it's only 20 quid with the discount. So it's fantastic. It helped elevate my FPL game last year. I got a top 10K finish, which is great. So hopefully continuing on using Fantasy Football Scout to help us with that. As well as use the code FLAME20 so you can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping for your next Manscaped order. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, take care.